Hello everyone, this is Professor Robert Solis and welcome to this next video lesson. In this particular video, we're going to talk about FileIO 3, another way of working with file input-output. Specifically from the comments, you can see that we're going to be working with the end of file function within a while statement. Okay, so once again, you'll notice that I've included the fstream library. I've created my input file stream and my output file stream objects. You'll notice over here that I've established the internal representation of an external file. So what this does is it opens a line of communication with this external file. This over here opens a line of communication with this external file. And for this particular object, we are going to be reading from. Notice the IF. And for this particular object, we're going to be writing to. Again, notice this particular object. All right, we're over here where it says read all the data from the input file. What we want to do is we want to read everything from this particular external file. Let me go over here to projects and double click over here on intro to FileIO 3. FileIO 3, here's the input file. So I have three names here. I have Robert Solis, Joshua James, and Jackson Paul. All right, so I want to read that data, and that's what this while statement does. What this EOF means is have we reached the end of file? And then what this operator over here, this exclamation mark, it means the not operator. So what this is doing is asking a question. Have we not reached the end of file for this particular external file? In other words, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the first line of data. That's what this thing does, right? Read from file, and then as long as we haven't obtained the data, or reached the end, I should say, then we keep on looping through this. Okay, what are we doing? Well, we're going to be getting the line of data. So let's assume that we have not reached the end of line. We're going to be using the get line to read from this file, which reads from input.txt, and we're going to be placing the data into name. And then once we've done that, it looks like we're going to take the output string, we're going to concatenate the word hello with a space, the person's name, and then this right here, this is called an escape sequence. This specific escape sequence goes to the beginning of the next line. So anytime you see backslash, we call those escape sequences. And what these do is that there's all kinds of backslash n, backslash b, backslash T for tab, say for example. Backslash n goes to the beginning of the next line. And I'll show you that in just a moment. Once we're finished, we're going to take that output string and write to a file. We're going to see out a particular statement, and then we're going to close what we've opened. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the program right here just before we enter into the while statement. Let me go ahead and run the program. And as you can see here, it's asking the question, have we reached the end of the file? And specifically, it's saying, as long as we have not reached the end of the file. Well, we haven't even started reading yet, so this is going to be a true statement. So let me go ahead and step over. We are now inside of the while statement. We are about to use getLine, which is going to read this entire first line. So let me go back over here into Windows Explorer. We're going to read the entire first line, which is Robert Solis. Okay, so that's going to be read and placed into the name variable, which currently is blank. So if I step over, notice now that for the name string, that has Robert Solis. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take the output variable, which is nothing. We're going to concatenate the word hello with a space, the person's name, and then we're going to go to the beginning of the next line. So let me step over, and now if I hover over output, you'll see here it is. Hello, Robert Solis, with this backslash n, which basically means go to the beginning of the next line. By the way, in the autos panel, here it is. Here's the value for output. You'll see this magnifying glass icon. If I click on this, it shows you what the text output is going to look like. So currently it just says, hello, Robert Solis. That blinking cursor over here is kind of a misnomer. It's misleading because really the cursor is blinking at the beginning of the next line, waiting for the next line of input. So let me close this and let's continue. All right, so if I click step over, we're going back to the beginning of the while statement, and we're asking the question, while we have not reached the end of file. Well, we haven't reached the end of the file because there's another line of data to read, namely Joshua James. All right, so can we read or have we reached the end of the file? No, we have not. So that's why we enter into the while statement again, and we are about to get the next line of data. Well, what is the next line of data? it's Joshua James. All right, so that is about to be placed into the name variable. So name currently is Robert Solis because of the previous iteration. Now notice what happens when I step over. You can see that the name variable has now been updated with Joshua James. Okay, so now that we've obtained that entire line, output is going to be appended to. So currently it's this, as you can see. It says hello Robert Solis with the \n, which means go to the beginning of the next line. We're about to say hello and then Joshua James because that's what the name variable is. So let me step over this. Output has now been updated. Let me click on this magnifying glass and you can see what the output currently looks like. Okay, let me click close and let's go ahead and click step over. So again, we've reached the top of the while statement and we're asking, shall we do another iteration? Well, as long as we have not read the end of the file, or as long as we haven't reached the end of the file. Well, that's not the case because we have one more name to read, and that's Jackson Paul. All right, so let's go ahead and step over. As you can see, we've entered into the while statement again because this is still true, that we have not reached the end of the file. And we're going to obtain the entire line. That's what getLine does. We're going to obtain the entire line and assign it to the variable name, which currently is Joshua James. So when I step over, now you can see if I hover my mouse pointer over here, it's Jackson Paul. Okay, so we're going to take the output, which currently is this. So let's take a look at the output by clicking the magnifying glass. Whoops, click there. Currently, this is what the output looks like. When I step over this, and let me click on this magnifying glass again, now we have 3 lines of hello. And then let me click close. All right, let's go back to the top. Have we reached the end of the file? Now we really have, because we have read all 3 of these lines. There's nothing left in this file. So notice when I click step over, we're going to jump out of the while statement. So let me click it, and as you can see, we have not entered into the while statement. We're going to take this output variable, which is all of this, right? All of this stuff right here, and we're going to write it to an external file, specifically output.txt. Then we're going to see out, and then we're going to close. So let me go ahead and just click continue. All right, so here's our cout statement indicating what we've written to the output file. Let's actually investigate that to see if it actually wrote it. So let me go ahead and switch over here to Windows Explorer. Here's the output file, and sure enough, here it is. Here are the 3 statements. Hello, Robert Solis, Joshua James, Jackson Paul. All right, so let's go back over here, and I think that's it. So this is Professor Robert Solis. I hope this video lesson was helpful. Have a good day. See you next time.